Daniel Boone was born in Reading, Pennsylvania in 1734. His father, who had emigrated from England as a young man, was a farmer who partly earned his living buying and selling land. But money was scarce in the Boone household, and Daniel probably hardly attended school at all. Many people think his older brother's wife taught him to read and write. While he was young, one of Daniel's chores was to take the family cattle into the nearby woods to find grass to graze on, and he soon came to love his time spent with the animals among the silent trees. Around 1750, Daniel Boone's father moved his wife and 11 children, Daniel was the sixth in line, from Pennsylvania south to the Yadkin River Valley in North Carolina. There, Daniel began working, at first for his father, and later as a wagon driver or teamster. He even worked for a time as a blacksmith, shoeing horses and shaping pieces of iron into tools. In the meantime, he developed a keen passion for the outdoors and became a crack shot with a rifle. From the age of 13, his hunting and marksmanship skills regularly provided his family with meat. In those days, men used muskets, long-barreled guns also known as flintlocks. These fired a round lead ball which was blasted down the barrel by a small explosion of black powder, just as in a cannon. The loading of these guns was awkward and slow, and they were not very accurate. It was not until the mid-1800s that rifles that fired cartridges were invented, like the weapons that are used today. In 1754, the French and Indian War broke out. This was a struggle between the British and the French to decide who owned large areas of land in the northeast of America. During the war, both countries made treaties with Native American tribes to get them to fight on their side. In 1755, at 21 years of age, Daniel left his family to join the British forces marching north under the command of General Edward Braddock. The plan was to seize control of the French stronghold Fort Duquesne in Pennsylvania. On the march, Boone met and befriended a widely traveled young hunter named John Finley. Finley's colorful talk of his adventures in the western wilderness area, known by the local tribes as Kentuck, made a deep impression on Daniel. Nearing Fort Duquesne, Braddock's force was ambushed and overrun by the French and their Native American allies. In the midst of the bloody battle, Boone made a daring escape on a wagon horse. 3 years later, he returned as part of the British expedition sent to avenge Braddock's defeat. This time, their attack was successful. Fort Duquesne was destroyed, and in its place was built Fort Pitt, which soon became the town of Pittsburgh. In 1756, Daniel married Rebecca Bryan and settled in North Carolina, announcing to his friends that all he needed to make him happy was a good gun, a good horse, and a good wife. Over the next several years, he fathered a string of sons and daughters, 10 altogether. It was common in those days for couples to have many children, as it was likely that several would die of untreatable diseases. During this time, Daniel made his living as a hunter and trapper. But he never forgot his friend Finley's talk of the Kentuck wilderness. In 1767, together with Finley and 4 others, Boone made his first expedition into that country. The men cleared a trail through the Appalachian Mountains at Cumberland Gap. This trail, which became known as the Wilderness Road, was soon used as the main route west. Boone made repeated visits to the Kentucky wilderness along this trail, exploring it fully and having several narrow escapes from the local tribe, the Cherokees. On one occasion, Cherokee warriors drove him to the edge of a high cliff above a forest. Rather than be captured or killed, Boone leapt 60 feet, 18 meters down into the trees below and escaped. In 1773, he attempted to lead a party of settlers into the new country, but they were ambushed by a Cherokee war party, and Boone's eldest son was killed. When they had beaten the attackers off, Boone and the others made a sad retreat back to their homes. In 1775, he again led a group of colonists along the Wilderness Road, this time successfully founding the town that still bears his name, Boonesboro, on the Kentucky River. "Soon after I returned home to my family," Boone wrote in his autobiography, with the determination to bring them as soon as possible to live in Kentucky, which I esteemed a second paradise, at the risk of my life and fortune. Later that year, he returned with a second party, which this time included his family. Throughout his travels, Boone always wore a loose shirt made from animal skins and buckskin leggings. Attached to his leather belt, he carried a sheathed hunting knife and a powder horn and bullet pouch for his musket. Many pictures show him wearing a coonskin cap made from the skin and tail of a raccoon, with the tail hanging down his back, but in fact, he preferred a wide-brimmed hat made of beaver skin that protected his eyes from the sun.